posited that the brothers of Poe's again fiancée, Elvira Shelton, drugged Poe with alcohol and beat him to death. According to Walsh, Shelton's 3 brothers had warned Poe against marrying their sister. Walsh suggests that Poe had made it to Philadelphia, where he was ambushed by Shelton's brothers. Poe would have then disguised himself in shabby clothing and gone into hiding. Walsh contends that when Poe tried to sneak back to Richmond, Shelton's brothers would have found him in Baltimore, beaten him, and drugged him with alcohol, knowing it would have made him deathly ill.
This meek, well-dressed man who wears cloaks. If you wanted him dead, you didn't have to get him. He was like a little spindly man with a head the size of a pumpkin. You see? Or maybe I'm just thinking of the Funko Pops.
Would you not want him?
Would I not want what?
Oh, as a brother-in-law.
No, I wouldn't. He's a weird dour man. I would not beat him to death.
I can't even imagine you throwing a punch.
No, me neither. If I'm ever gonna throw a punch,
I can only imagine you like backhanding somebody.
No.
like a lord.
It would be mid-conversation, and I'd maybe set it up a little bit. Like there's a great line from the OC where Ryan,
Yes.
the main character, is like from the rough and tumble parts of.
Yeah.
He says, "You know what I like about rich kids?" And the rich kid says, he goes, "Nothing." He walks away. But I might kiss my fist first. I might be like, you know?
So your only fight that you've ever imagined is you sucker punching someone?
Yeah, well, I'm a sucker puncher, all right. I'm a coward, baby.
This took a turn.
I would punch and
What is
I'd run.
happening?
I'd run real fast.
Oh my god, I got you!
Then I'd get on a train and I'd move to a different city and I'd change my name.
Our third theory is Edgar Allan Poe was the victim of cooping, a violent form of voter fraud that was extremely common in Baltimore at the time. Cooping was when gangs would kidnap a victim and force him to vote multiple times in a variety of disguises.
Strange.
That's
Strange when crimes were like this.
Groucho Marx.
Yeah, very odd.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird time.
Also, it's a crime, and yet these people need to have some sort of trunk full of disguises.
Walking around with a carrot top.
Like hardened criminals would be like,
We got you now. Put on this feather boa. Okay, now the pink. Put that one on. That one with the spaghetti straps. Could you audition those glasses? I don't know if the frame fits. Off. Glasses. You know what? Let's go with the other one. I was right the first time I overthought it.
This is good character.
This theory makes a lot of sense, as it explains why Poe was not in his normal clothes and why he was found outside of a polling place. During this time, voters were often given some alcohol after voting as a celebration, because of Poe's genetic sensitivity. Right the first time I overthought it.
This was good character reference. Let's keep going.
This theory makes a lot of sense, as it explains why Poe was not in his normal clothes and why he was found outside of a polling place. During this time, voters were often given some alcohol after voting as a celebration. Because of Poe's genetic sensitivity to alcohol, if he had been forced to vote several times, thus having to drink multiple drinks, it could have explained the drunken stupor he was discovered in. Biographer J.H. Ingram during the late 1870s received several letters that caused him to believe this was how Poe met his demise. A member of the faculty at Johns Hopkins, William Ann Brown, wrote Ingram saying, quote, "The general belief here is that Poe was seized by one of these gangs, cooped, stupefied with liquor, dragged out and voted, and then turned adrift to die." End quote.
If you're gonna kidnap someone to coop them, yes, you want to. I don't know how recommended it is, but
Edgar Allan Poe. Yeah, I don't think he would be Edgar Allan Poe. And one of them stopped midway and was like, "Wait a second, this dude wrote The Raven."
this guy wrote Fall the House of Usher. Haven't you guys ever read that? It's incredible.
It's a beautiful story. You know what? I'm done. I'm sorry, man. Get up.
We love your prose. We're sorry about
We're really good. We'll take it easy. I don't think that's what happened. I think it was just, Okay. Our final theory is that Edgar Allan Poe died as the result of a brain tumor, which could have explained his odd behavior in the days leading up to his death. Though Poe was buried in an unmarked grave 2 days after he died, 26 years later, a statue was erected to honor his gravesite, during which his coffin was dug up so his remains could be exhumed. I use the term honor loosely, as the marker lists his birthday as January 20th. the day after Poe was actually born.
They tried to remedy their mistake from before with the unmarked grave, and then they
Beefed
beefed it real hard.
Beefed it, literally etching it in stone. You don't want to double check that?
I guess not.
Imagine if your headstone said, like, Brian Bazzara, loving wife. You wouldn't care?
I mean, I'm dead, so.
Yeah, I mean, you know my outlook on things. It's like, whatever. Leave me in the street for the dogs to pick at my bones.
That's another thing, too, I've always wondered with graves, like, when people leave things at the grave, like flowers or even, like, food or things that they like.
Yeah.
If you die, isn't your grave, like, one of the last places you want to go check out?
I mean, that's where your body is, maybe your spirit
I
resides. I mean,
suppose.
Dia de los Muertos, it's like the cemeteries become like a fun...
That is...
I saw Coco.
It's just I don't want to hang out at a cemetery if I'm coming back to Earth.
Let the cemetery just be a happy place. Let's make
Maybe.
them happy places.
I'm just saying that most times ghosts haunt the house that they live in, or where they died. They don't
Or
go
wherever's convenient for the story. Yeah, I know.
Understandably, Poe's coffin and corpse were in terrible condition. As workers tried to move the coffin, it fell apart, spilling Poe's remains.
I can't catch a break.
This is comical at this point. Like
It's what you get for marrying your 13-year-old cousin.
Jesus, man, you can't
No,
say
it's,
that.
I can't say it.
can't
Oh,
say
I
that.
can.
News articles reported it was Poe's brain, quote, dried and hardened in the skull, end quote, claiming, quote, the cerebral mass evidenced no sign of disintegration or decay, though, of course, it is somewhat diminished, end quote.
What happened?
That's gnarly, man.
I do not think that the heart gets into a funny little ball. I don't think that's what happens.
Wouldn't it be funny if a funny little mouse came out?
I guess.
However, if there truly was a mass remaining in Poe's skull, it is unlikely to have been his brain. Soft brain tissue would have been some of the first to decay after Poe's death. It is much more likely any mass would have been a tumor, which could have calcified and hardened after the death. Expert testimony also suggests Poe had been told earlier in his life by a doctor that he believed Poe had a lesion on his brain that explained his adverse reaction to alcohol.
Well, I will say that the tumor does explain a lot of things. It makes things make more sense because, like, all of the sobering up and all that stuff, it was all nullified by the fact that he just had a tumor. That's why he wasn't getting it.
I mean, they also said he was talking to specters in his final hour. You know, it could have explained some.
We talk to specters all the time.
Could explain some hallucinations or things that might not actually be there.
Well, his hallucinations weren't caught on camera.
His what?
His hallucinations weren't caught on camera.
Hallucinations? Idiot.
This is not the season to talk about this. Also, fuck you.
As you may have noticed, none of our theories rules out the others. Edgar Allan Poe may very well have been beaten and kidnapped in a cooping scheme, sent to a stupor with alcohol after voting, and unable to recover due to a brain tumor, or any combination thereof.
Well, that's fun. I mean, sad, but